Blowing up.
I felt that way in the first one.
Dude, strap in for the fourth one. Especially shit. What the
that on
hell?
the poster.
What the hell did they come up with the element like transformium or something?
Yeah.
That's what it literally is. The thing
some
in
weird,
the movie.
some weird DNA.
And it's like they get the technology of the Transformers, but then as humans they can just control it. So it's like, no, turn this into whatever I want. Look, it's a phone. Now it's a battery. Now it's this. It's like, okay. That was like a huge plot of the movie.
I know you won't believe it, but that goes wrong for them.
It does.
What would you make?
Shocking.
What was the first thing you make if you could make something?
I'd probably make like a gun.
Robot vagina.
Yeah, or probably wouldn't be robot.
vagina.
I would make
seems
something
really
I
sharp
could
on the
shoot.
inside.
Something really loud and obnoxious to fuck with Gavin.
Like a noise machine?
Some sort of giant speaker
Yeah.
or something that would just amplify your voice several times.
Why would you need that to be a transformer, though?
Because you could do whatever you want. You'd be like, you could think of this. You could make it into like a speaker, blast his eardrums out, then immediately turn it into a pencil and shove it up his butt.
I was about to say,
In one face swoop.
I would make a robot finger that goes invisible. Like it just, that's 7 times a day it's programmed to find his
Well, you
butthole.
just give it legs, and it just anywhere it follows him around.
It's
And
like
anytime he
spider
looks like
legs.
he's about to sit.
It's spider legs with a robot finger on the top, and it runs around.
You know someone's gonna draw that immediately.
Yeah, dude's face to like product shot.
Oh, yeah, that was like Bud.
Yeah.
They were doing some hardcore Bud.
Spider-Man 3. I don't know if you were around back then, but we got into
alive?
I mean, I don't know if he was in the company.
Oh, okay.
We got in to see like an early press screening of Spider-Man 3. Like me and Bernie and Gus and Matt. And I don't remember if some other people. It wasn't you. I think probably Nathan or something.
Oh yeah, this podcast sponsored by Movement Watches. There you go.
yeah.
Out there.
And,
they probably put the logo up, and I didn't think about it.
If you could,
it's right in the middle.
If you could buy their watch, all proceeds go towards them saving up for vowels.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They cut out the vowels and they pass the savings on to you.
They're looking.
That's why it's cheaper.
I heard that if they get enough,
Watches.
watch sales in 2016, they're going to buy an O.
Well, let's not put vowels in their
What
mouth.
they do with it, we don't know. They're just gonna buy one and have it somewhere.
It's framed.
It's the Office O.
They're gonna make a watch out of it.
We got in to see the fucking Spider-Man 3, and we were all super excited because 2 is so good. And like the reel broke halfway through the movie. and so
that was the best thing that happened to you that night.
So we walk out into they kick us out into the lobby for a while, and Gus and I walk out together, and Bernie and Matt are over there doing their hand job thing, and Gus and I'm like, am I crazy? And he's like, no, it's a piece of shit, man. And I'm like, it's really bad, right? And he's like, I can't believe it. And he's like, should we just leave? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's really cool that they're letting us see it early, but this is like really bad. Like, we're trying not to make eye contact with anybody from the studio. You know, they don't want to be like, so what do you think? And you're like,
did you watch what I just watched?
I think it's a film. And so we walk over to Bernie and Matt, and Gus is like, so? And they're like, it's awesome, right? And we're like, what movie are you watching? And they're like, you guys are crazy. And we got in this huge fight over whether it was good or not. And then they're like,
intermission of
Bernie and Matt are both like, you guys are idiots. This movie's awesome. You're stupid. And we're like, it's fucking terrible. And then we go back in and we finish the movie. Then we come out and they're like, and I look at them and they go, all right, never mind. All right, I won't talk about it.
Fantastic. But then I bought that, and that reminded you of the Key and Peele sketch, which I hadn't seen.
In their
yet.
last season, they did a Gremlins 2 pitch meeting sketch. It was like the funniest thing. If you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the movie,
You're
you
not
probably
gonna
wouldn't make
get
a lot of
it.
sense.
You're not
But if
gonna
you've
get
seen
it.
Gremlins 2,
Yeah.
it's fucking phenomenal.
And then the sequel came out, and they made it goofy as shit. Just
Yeah.
like so over the top,
Like
and
dancing and
wacky,
singing
dancing, singing, talking Gremlins, like just, huh?
I saw it in the theater. I was telling Michael, I saw it in the theater. I must have been like not 10, maybe, or 11. And I left that theater going like, I'm a kid, and even I know that.
Yeah. So the basis of the Key and Peele sketch is like they're in the pitch meeting for Gremlins 2, and like a Hollywood, I can't remember exactly
fixer
what,
or
but it's like
like a sequel master.
Yeah, he's like, I come in, I punch up scripts for the sequels. He comes in and just immediately starts this ridiculous pitch session where he's like, anything you can think of it. And they're like, Spider Gremlin. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you came up with that. Nothing's confirmed, but it's definitely in the movie. Next. And he's like, woman Gremlin. He's like, I can't believe it. You said that the second you said vagina, tits, lipstick, it's all in the movie. It's fucking fantastic. And then you get to the end and they're like, none of this is in the movie. And then it just cuts to like a text and it's like, all of this was in the movie.
And it was.
And it was in the movie. I kind of want to watch Gremlins and then Gremlins 2 now because of it.
So bad.
But that's exactly what I
It's
imagine.
bad, but watchable. I mean, it's no Tom Cruise movie.
Oh my god! He brought it around and rewinding, and I'm sure sometimes we'll accidentally stop the DVD because I'm sure that'll happen.
It could
or
take,
whatever.
if it's anything like my living room,
And it will be.
with my wife.
Yup.
And my daughter.
Yep.
A 90-minute movie could take 6 hours.
That's endless. Endless. I don't know how many times we've come over to watch 2 episodes of iZombie and left 5 hours later, and we say, "Hey, at least we got one.
We got one out of
watch one."
It's like
Every fucking time.
It's like you gotta pause every 3 or 4 minutes to have like a 45-minute discussion about what you just watched.
The part that usually makes me feel bad about it is because normally that's annoying, but everybody there is in on it. Everyone there is fine, except for Millie. She is just like, "Can we watch the show? Please."
Like, I've got a bedtime.
I know, you're like, "Millie, gotta go to bed." And she's like, "We haven't gotten to the first act yet."
She does. She's not patient. I get it.
Well, she's not patient to take 2 hours to watch a 40-minute program. The girl's gotta learn.
She got school in the morning, dude.
The amount of times that we sit down to watch like an episode of Always Sunny, just Griffin and I, and we'll sit down and I'll hit play, and I'll turn around and she's like in another room. I can just hear shit banging. And I'm like, "What? Where'd you go? What are you doing?" She's like, "I'll be right back. Just pause it." It's like, I get better.
Episode 2 so far is the best this season. Frank falls out the window. It's pretty.
Interestingly enough, I was reading.
Fell out your window.
I was reading the. I've never fallen out of.
I jumped out a window once, head first.
Why'd you do that?
How high?
Maybe like 10 feet.
Wow.
Something
so
like
it was
that?
the second floor?
No, it was first floor, but it was like up a flight of stairs. It was Jersey, and there was like a basement, so it's like a slightly higher first floor.
Oh, okay.
Long story short, my friend was playing StarCraft. He played the shit out of it all the time, and it was like a 2-hour game.
Not where I thought that story
Yeah.
was starting.
Yeah, it's true. So I was over his house, and his bedroom like faced the front of his bedroom faced the street, and then he had a side window. And it's funny because my oldest brother, was home from college, so he was like 20 and I'm like maybe 11, and he said he was sitting on the front porch of my house, just like sitting outside, and he's looking at the house, and all of a sudden I go, and I just come out the window and hit the ground. But I was just to be an asshole because I was such a piece of shit. He's like 2 hours in the middle of the game. I'm looking. I literally just turned his fucking computer off, ran, jumped off the bed, and went out his window. And he was like, "No!" Like he grabbed for me as I went out the window, and it was like, I'll just jump out the window. In my head, as I'm going out, I was like, "Oh my god, that's low!" And then, like I just went out.
That's like the shittiest superhero ever.
Yeah. It was
It's
full,
asshole man.
It was like full horizontal. I pulled the Caleb. You know, if there was like a frisbee, I would have caught it. I would have caught it.
In the air.
Funny enough, 10 feet didn't break any bones or anything. But,
It's impossible.
You're running around, in the grass, and I shattered my spine.
Yeah. Kids are durable, man. I fell out of a
Yeah,
treehouse.
I just kept rolling, man.
I fell out of a treehouse. I was about 15 feet off the ground and just landed just flat
I
on
did
my
the exact
stomach.
same thing.
And I got up and dusted myself off. My dad came. I was like in front of my dad's shop. He came out like thinking, "Oh my god, my son just died." I literally got up and like, and I was done. I went and I climbed back up the tree.
I had a treehouse in my backyard, and the front of it had like a rope ladder,
Okay.
that you could climb, but it would like swing, but it was kind of attached to the ground, so it wasn't crazy. But we had this old pole in our backyard, which I didn't remember what the hell it was for. It was like there forever, and I was like, "Oh, we could use this as like a sliding." Like my father built it around the pole, so it was like a firehouse. The pole's in the middle of the treehouse, so you could slide down the pole. You could climb up the ladder. So I'm in the treehouse with my cousin, and I'm just like I'm like talking to him as I'm walking around. I just like walked backwards and just fell right through the fucking hole. Fell straight onto my back, and it was just like dirt at the bottom.
Yeah.
Hit my back. My mother called the hospital, and I think it was like 8 feet. It was like an 8-foot drop. She told them 18 feet. And they were like about to send the fucking helicopter, come pick me up. I had to like go to the hospital, all that bullshit, ambulance, everything. Literally, it was like hours because it wasn't like crazy life-threatening. I went in there, I sat in the waiting room. They had a neck brace on me because I fell, and they're like, "Don't move until the doctor sees you." By the time the doctor walked in, I was like ripping it off, like biting into it. The doctor was like, "Yeah, you're fine." He looked at me for like 2 seconds and left. So I was at the hospital for like 5 hours because I fell out of a tree.
Yeah, the weight was actually.
There was sticks and things, like getting like tree limbs and like whacking each other.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up in Jersey. There was woods everywhere, dude. Just like we would do this thing, especially in like middle school, high school, because we walked to school a lot, and it was pretty close, like a 20-minute walk or whatever. But there's like shrubbery all over the place. We do a thing where we walk in, somebody just go bush and fucking shove you into the bush. So you would never. You're looking, all of a sudden somebody's like, you're looking where you are and you're like, oh fuck, and you immediately just stop or you run ahead because your ass is about to be in a bush.
I feel so bad for my parents because they had to have so many awkward conversations with like friends that would stay over at our house. Twice
About the bedwetting?
Yeah. Well, I mean, aside from that, yeah, I mean the leaking. No,
night
for
terrors.
we decided one time it'd be fun to just throw bats at each other's feet.
Feet?
I'm gonna get your feet.
At each other's feet.
Let your toes.
Well, it's a plural of feet.
Like just feet.
Feet.
Just
Feet.
like
Multiple people's feet.
it's
feet.
still feet,
Still feet.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Lego.
Whatever. As
like
you can
baseball
imagine,
bats?
yeah,
Yes.
like
Okay.
I think they were wood, but still.
Okay.
So one person ducked when they should have jumped and lost half of their front tooth.
Oh, he ducked into a
He
thrown
ducked
bat.
into a thrown bat.
Oh my god.
So that was an awkward conversation for my parents to have with said other child's parents.
I got hit in the face with a shovel once.
Ooh.
The sharp end of a shovel.
Wait, like the flat end hits you, or like it came at you pointed?
Pointed.
Oh.
My friend and I were digging in a. There was a pile of dirt behind his house. They were doing some leveling.
Yeah.
And we were building like sandcastles, and I got behind him when he went. And caught me right here.
Oh,
and it
God.
Split me open like all across over here.
Did your brains come out?
No.
How do you not have a scar?
I probably do. You probably see it. If
It's in the wrinkles. You can't see it.
It's in the crevice. It's in this portion of the Marianas Trench of my face, and so I was just like covered in blood, and I couldn't see out of my eye, and I thought maybe it missed my eye by like that much, and I went to his mom, and because my mom was at work, so I was a latchkey kid, and I was just fucking crying, and this is the same friend that I told the story about how we were playing on a construction site, and he fell through the rebar, and the rebar pierced him.
Oh.
In the neck. I've told that story on the podcast before. And I had to like help him pick himself up. Yeah, it was gross. It was gross. Anyway, so I'm like covered in blood, and I knocked on his mom's door, and I'm like, and she had like, they had like a newborn, and she's like, I can't let you in, I got the baby. And then she shut the door on me. So I just walked home, and I got a towel, and I just stuck it on my head, and I waited for my mom to come home 2 hours later to take me to the hospital to get stitches.
Jesus, that
then my
goddamn Ramsey
mom-
boy's bleeding again.
Yeah, and then my mom went and screamed at that lady, and we were
Took her baby.
I didn't get to hang out. I didn't get to hang out with it. I was supposed to be in the. We were supposed to be in the talent show together. As like we had this like rock and roll thing,
Right.
And I didn't get to be in the talent show with
This
them.
is rock and roll.
My mom burned some bridges.
Burned your house down too.
Yeah. So we moved.
To be fair, it does sound like you and that guy should not be together.
Christ.
I got the baby.
Yeah.
What would you do? What would you do if Millie walked up to your front door and was just like face covered in blood? How would you react to that? I'm curious. Like,
Probably not well.
would it be sheer panic? Oh my god! And like,
I would. No, I've been there on a couple of occasions when she was younger. In a situation like that, you get incredibly calm and pragmatic, and you take care of the situation. And then you like when everything's fine and she's put to bed with her stitches or whatever. Then you go sit in the closet and cry for like an hour.
so it's kind of like drinking, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one is especially cool because the graphics are really cool.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
The way they put our little heads on it and they actually separated out the episodes
Let's give credit
and
to
stuff.
at least the person who made it.
Some guy named Imgur.
Imgur. Okay.
Imgur.
Okay. Oh, that's dumbass.
Okay, you didn't get it.
Yeah, it took a
twice.
second. I was like, EM. Oh, there we go. Anyway.
The other weird comment I got constantly was that you sound so much more
Yeah.
American.
Yeah.
That
What
happens.
does that mean?
That happens in Australia.
Yeah.
They said that the last time.
How
Lindsay
do
and
we
I
sound
went.
so different?
Well, because one, I mean, I will give you, it's still different online.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that deludes an accent in any way. I think Gavin still sounds super fucking British online. But I will say, it's just a difference of hearing people in person and over microphone. But I think the biggest thing is, when we all talk, it's just us. If not Gavin, it's all Americans and Gavin. In Australia, it's like 2 Americans in 10,000 Australians.
yeah.
So the accent is
Context.
so much thicker in person. It's everybody sounds like them, and then we just sound totally different. That's every single person at Supernova 2014 told Lindsay and I we sound really American.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's where we're from. You guys sound Australian. I didn't go, you really sound Australian? This is so weird.
You say hot dog every
You've lived
fifth
in
word.
Sydney your whole life. Fascinating. I would have never guessed. You sound just like it.
Griffin and I were both exhausted, and we weren't sure about because Gavin wasn't there, so it's just the two of us for an hour in front of 500 people. Forgot how much I like to listen to myself talk.
Oh, yeah.
We went for 48 minutes before we took a
Do you remember 2 weeks ago when you said you didn't have time to be on the podcast, then you stopped by and wouldn't leave?
Yeah. I was going to drop in.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you remember that Let's Play we did where I had everybody sing a different song for 30
Yeah,
seconds
yeah,
all at the same
yeah,
time? We did that with 502 people. It was fucking awesome. We filmed a happy hour.
Oh, that's great.
And then I made Griffin drink enough water to pee her pants.
That's fantastic.
Ryan drank on the off topic.
Yeah,
Ryan had a beer.
I saw a
Again.
picture of Ryan drinking a beer.
Yeah.
What the hell? So do you just have to get out of the country and
Pretty
suddenly
much.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
let's
No,
get
it's the
this
same
thing.
thing.
When in Germany
It
or
was
Australia
another weird
or-
coincidental thing where they brought the beers out, which apparently were not for us.
Yeah.
That's a funny story.
It's a pretty funny story. Bernie told it on their panel, but I'll tell it again anyway.
Mhm.
Basically, we're sitting there, we're doing the
people watch this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We're sitting there, we're doing the podcast, and then at 20 minutes in, one of the guardians or one of the organizers comes out with a bar tray of beer, and it was like 5 beers. I'm like, oh, this is awesome because we didn't have the set, so Jeff and I were just drinking out of a flask that a fan gave me. The day
Nice.
Drinking
before.
water because you're not allowed to drink on
Yeah,
stage.
no, it wasn't water. It was scotch.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, this is awesome. We have the beer, and then we never thought anything of it. Like Bruce came out at one point and tried to take it
steal
away
him.
from us, and we fought him on stage. But I found out after the fact that was Bernie, and he was watching it, and what he said was, he's like, oh, this is great. So I don't know if you watch the podcast, but they have a bar. And a lot of times people walk by and grab a drink. And Bernie does that all the time. He'll walk by, grab a drink, and leave. And people really like that. They're just like, oh, it's cool. There's other people
Yeah.
from the cast
They're
just showing up.
interacting, yeah.
Exactly. We hate each other in real life.
Oh,
but
yeah, clearly.
the illusion is there.
Right.
So he was like, you guys should find out if we can get beer, in the convention center, blah, 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 blah. They found out yeah, we can do it. He's like, okay, so put it behind them, on the set, and so people can just walk by, grab a beer, and leave. And it's like, oh, okay, great. So Bernie's like, I'll meet you down there. So he goes down to behind the stage, and he gets there by the podcast, and he asks somebody, okay, where did you do the thing with where are the beers? And the guy comes over, he's like, oh, it was great. The crowd loved it. We brought him out. Everybody loved it. And he was like, okay, where are they? And he goes, oh, well, they're drinking them all. And he's like, no, I wanted to walk on and grab a beer for me, and just walk off like it's a bar. And then he explained it. I'm like, oh, okay, we got it. So he leaves. 10 minutes later, some other Guardian comes up to him and just go, Bernie, I got your beer. And he was just like, fucking forget it. So I was like, that was awesome.
I can't imagine how he thought that would go, though. He
It
thought
was
that
great
someone
for
would
us.
bring a tray of beer and put it on the set.
It was great
and
for us,
guy
though.
would not grab
No
it.
one would touch that.
But no, I only ended up with one because I was like, oh, okay, here they were. I'll just pass one to somebody, but everyone had already grabbed one. So
Oh.
So he had to, is what he's saying.
That's how you start doing meth. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, just pass
There
the
was
meth down.
5
Like, oh, I don't want to do
needles.
meth. Oh, shit, I have meth in my hand, and
there it
everyone's
is.
got one. Time to start meth.
I will say it's funny too about many of the stories that Jeff told about not maliciously murdering animals.
No,
but
never once.
They were accidents,
Self-defense
well, that
or
turned into
accidents?
malicious.
Well, you drive a car and things get on the road. That's fair.
I
to
put
say.
that-
It's the
I-
human condition.
It's true.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, I was doing God's work.
Right.
I put that kitten out of its misery.
Oh,
yeah.
you killed a kid?
Well, yeah.
Sort of.
Well, okay, some of
No,
God's
t-
work is smiting.
There's no
so.
sort
Yeah, I
of
guess
at
so.
all.
Jesus.
But he mentioned one story where you hit a deer. It didn't. You drove driving away and it didn't die.
Oh,
And I can hear-
and you were
I
like,
can hear it deer crying.
right. And you mentioned you talked to Griffin, and she's like, you got to go back and kill it. So you went back, and that's the story. Elaborates
I forgot an
from
element
there.
of that story, too.
Okay, well
I'll
that's
tell
you. Yeah.
amazing. But I mentioned that after the fact to Gus. I was like, dude, Jeff's fucking out of control. He was just telling story after story. And I was like, hey, he told us one story that he hit this deer, and then he went back for it, and then this other deer showed up, and Gus was like, he told that story? I'm like, yeah. He goes, he fucking called me first. That's the part I forgot. And then Jeff's like, oh, I forgot. He called Gus. He's like, what do I do? Gus is the one that said, get a gun and kill it. And Jeff says, I don't have a gun. He goes, leave it. Just leave it behind.
Oh, my God.
And then he called Griffin. Griffin told him to go back and run it over. He goes back to run it over, hit a second deer. I don't want to rehash the story, but it's
Yeah.
50 minutes of that. That's the podcast.
fantastic.
It's
Yeah.
absurd.
It's not only did I hit the other deer, but I hit the other deer while I was lining up my shot to run over the first deer. And then as I gunned it, that deer goes, what the fuck, and jumped up and ran away. And then another deer ran in front of the truck and I hit it.
Fucking A,
Did
man.
you kill the second deer on the first shot?
Get to new episodes. Like, oh yes, it's on Netflix. Because I
watch-
can just hit play and it just keeps going and going and
I
going.
feel like watching Charlie work. Boop, it's
Yeah,
on, you know.
I kind of like, I have
6 inches deep.
I have a
Oh, you son of a
I have a
bitch.
debate with Netflix sometimes where I'm like, do I want to continue watching? I've only watched 8 in a row. Yes, I want to continue. Stop fucking asking me. Just keep going until
Don't
I
you
tell you to
judge
stop.
me, Netflix.
Who cares if I'm sleeping? I don't give a shit. I'm listening in my dreams, okay? Just keep
Yeah.
playing.
It's osmosis.
Yeah. Is it? Is that osmosis?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I am not science.
It's all right.
He's not science.
I was fucking exhausted. Like my schedule wasn't fucked up, but I was just tired from flying, and then immediately was doing laser team stuff, and then like I've been doing the screenings at night, and then doing like press stuff in the morning. And so yesterday I was on the radio, and then this morning I was on Good Morning Austin for like 85 seconds, and I was supposed to be here to meet our PR guy to take me down there at like 8 o'clock, like 7:55. I woke up at 7:40 today. I was like, fuck. It was one of those things like you wake up and the second you wake up, you know it's wrong. Like I woke up and I was like, it's too bright. Oh fuck. Like I knew it was
like
way
a
too late.
Kevin McAllister
I knew.
moment.
I looked at my phone and I was like, fuck. And like that woke Lindsay up, me yelling like fuck. And I just like, I ran in, I'm like putting shit on, I brushed my teeth. We basically immediately left. I fucking forgot everything. I left everything. I grabbed a clean shirt, left it at the front door. And I was like, good thing I was on the radio yesterday because I'm wearing the same shirt. That was, but I made it. I made it for my 8 seconds. I went on right before the local dog.
Oh, nice.
Dude, so I threw a New Year's party this year.
Carry.
I threw a New Year's party this year, and it's 11 o'clock. We're out in the street. We're shooting off fireworks and stuff, having a bunch of people over,
Vandals.
drinking beer.
And Jeff comes by.
A lot of fun. I think I'm right outside the studio. And so,
What was that?
so Adam, my friend Adam who works here, Adam Gilby, the guy with the nose
Adam
ring.
Gilby.
Now the big
Ellis.
beard,
Adam
Adam
Ellis.
Ellis.
His name's Adam Ellis.
I know.
Not very good friends, apparently.
Yeah.
Doesn't know a lot.
So he rolls up to my house, and it's him and his lady friend, and they're like, "Hey, we found a dog down the street, and he's in our back seat." And I was like, "Cool." And they're like, "Yeah, we found this dog. We don't know what to do with it." I'm like, "All right, well, I can hold it in my backyard. You can take it to animal control in the morning, like when you guys leave." They're like, "Oh no, we have cats. We can't take it." And I was like, "Okay, it's not my responsibility. Like, you brought this dog to my party. What are you gonna do with this dog?" They go, "Okay." So they put
It's
it
drinking my beer.
So they put it in the backyard, and I was like, "All right, fine." And then
Spuds McKenzie.
like an hour later, we have New Year's, we all cheer and whatnot. And then I look up, and he's gone. Fucking dog's still in the backyard. He just left this
Happy
dog in
New
my
Year.
party. He's like, "All right, peace out."
I
Left
hope
the
your New Year's
goddamn dog.
resolution was take care of a new dog.
Yeah, and I'm like, "All right, fine, I have a dog." So the next morning I wake up, dogs, we left him in the backyard. I fed him and gave him water. Took him to animal control. That's the second time in 3 years I've had a dog show up at my New Year's party that I did this take to animal control the next morning. 3 years ago, I was in my house and there was this little white dog in my house. I'm like, "Whose dog is this?" They're like, "Oh, it's not yours." Fucking dog somehow has made it into my party. Like, no chip, nothing like that.
Somewhere there's
Also,
a child
I'm
crying.
Yeah,
finding if
exactly.
you have any like elder family members, bring them to Jack's house.
Just leave him. I'll leave him in the backyard and take him
Give
somewhere the
him
next
food and
morning.
water.
Oh, Pop's fine. He's fine. He doesn't bother anybody.
I
You just got to change him every once in
I
a
built
while.
a really nice doghouse for Emma that she just never uses. So like the dog, of course, immediately ran inside and lay down, and I was like, "Okay, at least
I'm
someone
yours
lays in there."
now.
Yeah. Ugh. Anyway.
I haven't talked to you about this. You're gonna love this.
Okay.
We're most excited to watch you in this video.
Okay.
This is my pitch to Hullum.
Okay.
I guess I talked about it in Australia, so I'll talk about it here. I want to play Monopoly because Achievement Hunter has a rich, storied history with Monopoly.
Yeah, great game.
Of us hating it. And I thought, like, what better way to be invested in a full playthrough of Monopoly than to play the actual board game? I'll be the bank. The 5 of you will get maybe another person to play, 6 people. But in Monopoly, you have $1,500 in starting cash. What if the $1,500 was actual money?
Oh wow.
And you guys are playing for actual money?
Well, does the bank have real money too?
The bank will have an amount of real money,
Okay.
but not like the bank has in the game, obviously. And we'd have to modify the rules.
I feel like
a little
this
bit.
is set up for a heist.
Yeah, it is.
I just want to see the backstabbing going on and
Michael?
how mad you guys get.
You want to?
I propose.
I want to see the allegiances.
I propose that we just start the game and immediately go like, "All right, we all win," and just walk away with $1,500.
That's a great way to get fired.
Someone said Gmod Murder or GTA 5. Oh, GTA 5. That's not a bad
We
idea.
should.
Oh.
We should do.
We
Hey,
should
to
get
be
into
fair,
We're
though,
definitely going to do every build count.
To be fair, we still haven't fucking done anything with your yacht.
Because I want to wait for Gavin.
I know, but Gavin sucks.
Gavin's never coming back.
We hate
He's
him.
dead. Let him go, Jeff. Let him go.
He's a movie star now.
He's beyond us now.
He'll be back.
Never coming back.
He'll be back next week, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe?
Maybe.
What's the maybe? Are you serious?
There's always a maybe.
Maybe
with Corey.
the maybe is I was talking to I think Eric yesterday, and we were talking about Gavin coming back because he's doing press stuff. And I was like, I don't know when he gets back, like Saturday or Sunday, whatever. And Eric's like, then he's got to do this. I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, he's like, I don't know. I asked him, you gonna be in the office Monday? And he was like, maybe. I don't know. So he might be back next
He's
week.
beyond us now.
Remember when Gavin was at work?
We should. All right.
My mother's here today.
Does she want to play Call of Duty?
She probably shouldn't. I don't think she'd be very
She's
good
a
at it.
big GTA fan. Actually.
Yeah.
That's not a no though.
If you wanna talk about a fan and like relevant conversation, I should have like had her come on during the whole swear jar conversation because it's like my 1,200 fucks. It's like that's where it comes from. Because she curses a lot.
Mine did not come from
Yeah.
my mom. My mom
Yeah.
does not curse.
Well, I could even say it's really from my mother, I guess, but she doesn't really give a fuck. I've developed a thing with my mother where she's like a brick wall, like it'll just bounce right off to her. Especially with Gavin, that's like the best because he's like, oh, my parents don't even let me talk to them. You know what I mean? He's like, I called my mom once. It was the first time this year, and she hung up on me. She's like, never call this number again.
He has to run everything through his brother.
Right, exactly. He's just like, George, can you tell mom I love her? And he's like, oh no, not today, B. Not today. I just told her 3 months ago. But so the best part is when I'm talking to my mother with Gavin, because he like lives vicariously through me, and he's like, it's crazy. And I'll be talking to her, and I'm like, yeah, blah blah blah. Like we were talking about Game of Thrones once, and she was telling me, she's like, oh, I hate that Cersei Lannister. And I say to my mother on the phone with Gavin standing there, I was like, oh, she's a real fucking cunt. And Gavin's like, oh, and my mother's like, oh, absolutely she is.
She's got big ass ears.
Also, additionally, if you search for Marge Simpson fisting,
I was gonna say Rule
funny results,
34,
too.
but you just went right to fisting.
yeah.
So
I don't know if you want to try to search that.
We're turning into a demo disc all of a sudden. And what happened to Bruce? Bruce stopped singing on demo disc. I guess he gave up. He gave up his singing career.
is that a thing that he
Yeah.
did?
Oh yeah.
He sang for like 12 episodes.
I know
in a
on
row.
one of the I think it was demo disc. It was something like that. One of the last ones they went through all of the like erotic achievement hunter photos of like you banging Gavin and me banging Gavin.
Yeah.
And everyone
Everybody
banging
banging
Gavin. the best part about it is Gavin watching. He's like, why is it always me? I'm like, it just is, man. I mean, there's no question. You're always on bottom.
Yeah, he's
always.
He's absolutely.
There's no question.
Man.
I think he got lucky. There was one photo where I was blowing him. Sorry, drawing. They didn't get the photo.
Yeah.
Kid's like an asshole with a neck.
All the
They had
tug
it.
screening did really well. Anything that got confirmed, even like crazy was like Colton, his screening, he hosted himself because it was in Burbank. It was like 600 people there, like 500 or 600. It was a huge theater.
Wow.
It was huge. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do with that many people booing at me, but he seemed fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, yesterday, Gus Day.
Look out!
Oh, yeah.
Look out for
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Snipers are
It's coming
stunners
out, Ryan.
with
got it.
special guest star Malik from
Yep.
Nerdist.
Halo 5 Warzone.
Yeah,
Halo 5
special,
Warzone.
special Achievement Hunter Classic. He lost half his footage.
Yeah. Let's see. Fibbage.
It is a lot of
Not
money.
so much dog hammering.
Yeah.
though,
Has
as
nothing
last
to do
week.
with Minecraft. Just in
I
the live
defend
action
myself,
portions.
Michael.
I know.
2 feral dogs roll up on you in the woods
With
in
fucking
the snow.
collars?
They didn't have collars.
Oh, are we talking? I thought we were talking about.
No. This
no.
is another story he mentioned where he almost had to hammer some dogs.
What?
In.
So I'm in the woods.
Just watch last week.
Just watch last week.
I'll watch
Yeah.
the previous
Yeah,
episode.
catch up.
Hey,
Jesus
thanks for
Christ.
watching.
Yeah.
Tune in next week when Jeff won't be here to talk about everything he's learned. Or he will.
Unless you kill something.
Probably. Could be one of us.